Everybody, this is Cody James the Barker from the NWA, also the leader of Cody Country. You are watching Cole TV. Follow these guys on all their socials. Click, like, subscribe, share, and give these guys the respect that they give to you in content.
Greetings and salutations, everybody, and happy St. Patty Days, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. I just said St. Patty's Days, St. Patrick's Day, whatever you want to call it. I'm Xlj the Og, joined by my partner in crime, my brother from another mother this week, hailing from Kansas City, Missouri, one Mr. B-Roll.
Yes, whatever you celebrate out there, we hope you're out there drinking some green beer and chasing a leprechaun and finding the gold at the end of the rainbow.
Hornswoggle's around here somewhere?
Yes, indeed.
Nice. Well, welcome to this very special St. Patrick's Day episode of PW60, as we are going to take a look back at everything that happened this past week in the world of professional wrestling. And B-Roll, it was another busy week here in wrestling. But as always, we'll let you get this party started, my friend.
Yes, indeed it was. It was a very busy week. Sorry. I have a kazoo.
Are you like Edge and Christian now, you know? You think you could... No, can you play their old theme? Yeah? Oh, God.
No, I've been working on one.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll in due time. Okay, never mind.
It's still a work in progress.
Okay.
Gosh, we've gone off the rails.
And we haven't even started.
Yes. Also, real quick, another thought that has popped in my head. Lucky Charms sucks.
Yeah, Lucky Charms does suck. Happy St. Patty's Days, but Lucky Charms sucks.
Yeah. So
don't lie to yourself, folks.
Without further ado, though, now that we've got all of the business out of the way, I'm Mr. B-Roll. He is XLJ. This is PW60, and we promise from now on we are going to talk about pro wrestling. And I say the clock starts now.
That's right. And our top story this week, your tribal chief has returned as Roman Reigns made his triumphant return this past Monday night at the end of the high-profile, that steel cage matchup between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, just pretty much decimating both. And now it appears that our tribal chief is back, and he is here to exact revenge on not only Seth Rollins, but CM Punk from that scuffle at the Royal Rumble. What do you make of this, B-Roll? Like, how do you feel about the tribal chief coming back, and how do you feel about what now appears to be the triple threat match between these three taking place at the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania?
Man, oh man, it was done in cinematic fashion. Lots that you can get into here, but most importantly, the OTC is back. I mean, I'm excited for the triple threat. I definitely am excited for the triple threat. I know a lot of people, yourself included, would probably rather see a one-on-one.
Well, let me say this. I did want it one-on-one until this segment happened. Now I'm invested.
Now you're invested.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for this. See where this goes. And you've got the Paul Heyman element in the middle of it all, and yeah, we're just we're gonna have to strap in on the roller coaster ride. That is the ride to WrestleMania. So
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too. The Paul Heyman element, I think, is going to be the most interesting aspect of this story because there you saw it where Paul was inside the ring helping CM Punk, and then Roman comes in and just decimates CM Punk. I mean, we've got a lot more time till WrestleMania. It's going to be interesting to see what exactly Paul Heyman's role is and what we assume is going to be this triple threat match that we will be seeing at WrestleMania. But Roman Reigns is back, and we are heavily on that road to WrestleMania. But let's talk about the steel cage match itself, because a lot of critics, a lot of people, a lot of fans hailing this as like one of the best cage matches in a long time. And it was an old school, traditional type of cage match. Other than not having any blood in this matchup, which I get, well, it was a pretty solid matchup, and the finish I was okay with as well. Um, what I think's interesting is how literally within 24 hours we had this cage match and a dramatically different cage match on AEW with Ospreay and Fletcher. A lot of people trying to compare and contrast the two. I want to ask you, what were your thoughts? Do you have one that you would prefer over the other, or did you think both were just excellent, or did you hate one over the other?
um, so honestly, both were excellent. It's kind of one of those things. I don't think it's fair to put them in the same category, because the wrestlers involved in them very different styles
Absolutely.
of wrestling. Um, Best comparison I think I can make is when you compare like Jordan and LeBron, right? I mean, in my opinion, Jordan is the GOAT, but there is an argument to be made that two different eras of basketball um, are being played. So I, that's the best comparison I can make. Just two like totally different categories as far as like
Yeah.
wrestling style.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, my friend. I mean, it's just two completely different styles, two completely different feuds. I personally, I enjoyed both. I thought they were both excellent cage matches. It's like, okay, maybe some night you're in the mood to watch a great horror movie, and the other night you're in the mood to watch a great drama. That's kind of
Hmm.
like the comparison. I think the same things here. They're just in different genres, but they're both still have the same elements to them. But both were great matches, and this match was tremendous. And a lot of history there, of course, being in Madison Square Garden. That's one thing I love that Raw did all night was talk about the great cage matches from the past that happened in the Garden as well. But this was an awesome matchup. Absolutely loved it. And the rest of Monday Night Raw was awesome too, my friend. Of course, coming to you live from Madison Square Garden. You kicked off with Jey Uso and Grayson Waller. Um, so, how come they brought back the other guy from the Flawed Villains? What was that all about? This guy in the New York, Simon Gotch. That's Simon Gotch, right?
No, I don't think it is.
Huh, huh. I'll be damned. Well, he
I
looks
can see
awful
it
lot
though.
like Simon Gotch.
I can see it though.
But yeah, I gotta be honest, I don't even remember. Boy, I feel like I'm really getting old here, B-roll, because they're like some of these celebrities that are being involved in Raw. It's like I have no idea who they are, or some of these
Yeah,
celebrities who are being brought into WWE. I should say, like I didn't know
yeah,
shit about iShow Speed and the other guy that was like a streamer. Never heard of
yeah.
him. Still don't know him. Anyways,
Uh,
I digress. You also
I
had
think
a
yeah, I think this guy was like an actor or something. I think.
oh,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I think.
Uh, you also had a tornado tag with the New Day going up against the LWO. What do you think of Cody's promo? Uh, talking about John Cena once again.
I don't know.
Mm. Eh,
I'm
You're
I don't
indifferent.
know.
You don't. Yeah.
I'm
Still
it was
processing
such
things.
yeah, it was such a moment, you know? Like I'm just like I'm just kind of to the point where I'm ready to hear from Cena, I guess is where
Yeah.
I'm at.
Yep. Which that we anticipate. Actually, this is kind of history here for us. Because at the time this airs, Monday Night Raw technically will already aired, considering since they are overseas. So, but if you're like us, we're gonna catch it right after PW60 here and watch the replay available over on Netflix. But kind of interesting tidbit for you there.
Hmm.
Um, but a lot happening on Monday Night Raw. Also, too, what do you think about this going back to that tornado tag? This fan, like, who the hell is this fan who comes out and just attacks Rey Mysterio in this mask? I mean, how is it he got through security? I mean, I'm assuming it's a he. And just like, I hope they press charges against this mysterious masked man, because I mean, this is just ridiculous. There's some fan dressed up in a mask, thinking they can like attack a WWE wrestler like that. It's despicable, isn't it?
I mean, and heck of a suplex too. Like you could almost say like Olympic level, like
Oh
suplex.
yeah,
Uh, I mean, they had some skill,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. You're not wrong, my friend. But Monday Night Raw, solid show.
They did get
Solid.
arrested though. We saw
He
that.
did get arrested though. Yes, yes. While Chad Gable was getting that interview. Yeah. People thinking it's Chad Gable. Like, what's that all about? Like, I mean, I get it. Maybe similar move set and build, but I mean, plain as day, Chad Gable was there talking while this man was getting arrested. I mean, come on, get with it, people. But nonetheless, interesting week in WWE. Great week in WWE. A lot happening. Got to talk about this from Friday Night SmackDown. We have new tag team champions, and the Street Profits are once again your tag team champions. Long overdue, in my opinion. It's been a minute since they've held those belts. I forget what the statistic was, but I think it's almost been 2 years since the last time they were tag champions. You know how crazy that is to me?
Wow. Yeah.
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 But
Because like I feel like everyone was like after they kind of like lost the belts, it's like waiting for a Montez Ford like solo run, and then like that didn't happen. Then they get hooked up with Bobby Lashley, and then
mhm,
that didn't really go anywhere. And
yeah. And now we're here. But I am very pumped that the Street Profits are once again your tag team champions, and I hope they have a long reign. But they've got some competition. You know, DIY is going to be wanting to get a rematch. Pretty Deadly is on the horizon as the number one contenders. You also got, cannot forget as well about the Motor City Machine Guns. I
mhm.
mean, that tag division over there on Friday nights is looking pretty damn loaded, my friend.
Yeah, it's like quietly like the tag division has they're it's pretty loaded now there. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some teams
it's
in there.
it's nice to see some focus on that. It's much needed. We can just kind of replicate that for Monday Night Raw, and that'd be great. So, but once again, the Street Profits are your new tag team champions. Let's talk about the rest of Friday Night SmackDown. So is Tiffy Time's new thing going to be just jumping off of like high shit on a bunch of people now, apparently? Because
I,
she's just like relentless.
yeah, I mean, I hope so.
Yeah. Of course, Drew McIntyre just being an utter menace on Friday Night SmackDown. Looks like we are heading towards a Drew Damian Priest matchup at WrestleMania. Of course, you had Miz TV that was a little short lived with the American Nightmare. Um, you start off the show with LA Knight, and then that turned into a big 6-man tag. Um, but I think the biggest things we got to talk about on this show, man, these mysterious packages we saw, these promo packages, because we saw not one but two B-roll. A lot of speculation of who that is. From the first one, seemed like it is a man in a mask. A lot of people thinking it's Ray Phoenix, myself included. But let's talk about that second one because that's a lot more cryptic. A lot of people think that could potentially be the return of one Aleister Black. What do you think?
I mean, I was thinking the same thing after the first one with the mask, Ray Phoenix. But also, uh, do, could it be two separate things?
I think it is. That's what I'm saying. I think the one's Ray Phoenix. And I think the other one's Aleister
Yeah.
Black. Yeah,
Or could they be intertwined? Who knows?
I don't know. We'll let's have to wait and see, but I'm sure we will find out soon enough who these mysterious vignettes are for. But as we're on that road to WrestleMania, both tremendous nights for SmackDown and Raw. But man, it was a huge week for NXT. As NXT was taking place live from the theater there attached to Madison Square Garden, NXT Roadblock took place, and this show was loaded. I mean, this was like a takeover pay-per-view event, man. I mean, from top to bottom, huge matches, including this one right here, a dream matchup, if you will. Obafemi defending his NXT championship against TNA and Systems Moose. Um, I know I called him the Moose,
You almost said
the
the
X Division
moose. I
champion,
like it.
the Moose. We're gonna call him the Moose from now on. But anyways, um, I feel like this match lived up to the hype and then some. I thought it was a great matchup of just a big hoss fight. And here's the thing: I'm not a big fan of Moose the person behind the scenes, but damn it, the in ring Moose is pretty damn good, and I mean he showed that in this matchup. A lot of people in WWE very impressed with his performance. What do you think of this championship match at NXT Roadblock?
I think you hit the nail on the head of like this show was huge, and it's fitting that we're talking about these two huge gentlemen, if you will, because man, I mean, it's exactly what I hoped and dreamed it would be, and I guess you could say, I mean, this was this was like the I feel like ever since like Jordan Grace kind of crossed that line, this was a match I feel like on everyone's list. Like
Oh
Moose and
yeah,
Obafemi, just like two powerhouses. And I would say it lived up to the hype. Um, you gotta love your big meaty men slapping meat. You gotta love it.
yeah, you do. Tremendous matchup, and I mean Obafemi, of course, still looking like $1 million as well. But as great as that matchup was, the match of the night by far, everybody was talking about the main event of NXT Roadblock, champion versus champion, title for title. You had your NXT Women's Champion Julia going up against the North American Women's Champion Stephanie Fukur in a dream matchup. A little surprised that we got it this early on. Of course, speculation is there is some extenuating circumstances as far as injuries with Julia. But still, all things considering, I think it was a great matchup. If I'm nitpicking, I probably would have liked it to be a little bit longer, but still a damn good matchup nonetheless. A great main event. And of course, Stephanie Fukur is now your new NXT Women's Champion. She is the first woman in NXT history to hold both the Women's and North American Championships at the same time. And of course, because of that, Stephanie Fukur is our Wrestler of the Week here this week on PW60. What did you think of this historic matchup, my friend?
I mean, easily, I would say match of the night, and it's crazy saying when we
Mm-hmm.
were just talking about Moose and Obafemi, but I mean, cream of the crop right here. There's a reason we have said repeatedly that the NXT Women's Division is the best, and this was the best versus the best. I I just kept thinking honestly while I was watching it, like it's just like I can't like thinking of like where we were like a year ago,
Oh yeah.
with these two. It's just like and like where we are now. It's just it's crazy and um, it's just it's cool to see how I guess invested the company is into them, just because they
Mhm.
are that talented.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, they are, you can't deny it. They're the two top women in one of the most stacked women's division in all of professional wrestling. So tremendous moment for Stephanie Vaquer, much deserved. And it's going to be very interesting to see where she goes from here, as what's going to happen with the North American Championship and the Women's Championship. She's going to defend them both at the same time. Are we unifying them? Like, what is going to be the future of both of these titles? That's going to be very interesting to see what happens on Tuesday nights with your new NXT Women's Champion and your North American Champion, Stephanie Vaquer. But the rest of Roadblock was an amazing show as well. Kicking off with a tremendous tag match with the Hardys going up against Fraxium. Of course, the Hardys retaining their TNA Tag Team Championships. It does now look like on the horizon, potentially, we're going to be getting a Hardy Boys Fraxium matchup for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Jordan Grace and Roxanne Perez damn near tore the house down with their matchup. Amazing matchup. I would almost even go as far as say I think it was slightly better than their first matchup, believe it or not. As great as that matchup was. And speaking of great matchups, too, you got to talk about that street fight with Ethan Page and Javon Evans. I mean, my God, dude, that was badass. And of course, we get this mysterious group once again making their impact on NXT. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens on Tuesday nights, and I'm just so excited. I want to get right into TNA, and let's talk about TNA. TNA Impact from this past week. It was the go home show for they had TNA Sacrifice that took place this past Friday night. Um, was a fine show. Wasn't anything like too much. Just a lot of it was just kind of tying up loose ends going into the big pay per view. Of course, you had Joe Hendry defending his TNA championship not once or twice. Of course, first against Ryan Nemeth in a very quick matchup, but also defending it against Hammerstone. Now, what's interesting about this, folks, is Alexander Hammerstone is now officially gone from TNA Wrestling. So was there for a very brief time. So it's going to be interesting to see where Hammerstone goes from here. And also if he's fully healed up from his injury, which all things point to that he is. But as we said, TNA Sacrifice was this past Friday night. And let's talk about Sacrifice from this past Friday night. Solid show. If I'm going to be honest here, which I'm going to be, I felt the main event was a little underwhelming. The 10-man tag cage match, just slightly, just I don't know. I just wasn't really feeling it. And then you get the big shocker of the night, if you want to call it that, the Nemeth brothers turning on the Hardy Boys. So it looks like they will be feuding now. But man, they beat the crap out of Matt Hardy there at the end of the night. Mustafa Ali picking up a big win against Santana. Gosh, that was a great matchup too. And just Mustafa Ali is just doing such great work right now. I mean, playing that heel antagonist, tempting Santana with his past demons. Tremendous story going on there. Masha Slamovich successfully retains her Knockouts championship against Cora Jade in an impressive matchup. Speaking of impressive matchups, man, Moose had another, as you kids say, banger, where he went up against Jeff Hardy in a ladder match to successfully defend his X Division championship. Great matchup. Also, we got to talk about Spitfire going up against Ash and Heather by Elegance and the Concierge, and we now have new Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Gotta be honest, I was kind of a little disappointed with that in a sense because I'm a huge Spitfire fan. So I hate to see that, but it was pretty cool at the end there. We got to see the Meta Girls show up, and looks like they may be next in line for a Knockouts Tag Team Championship. The show started very chaotic too, B-roll, as the original opener was pushed aside as Mance Warner and Sammy Callahan just got it kicked off with Street Fight on the pre-show into the main show. Of course, Manser being Manser, and Sammy being Sammy doesn't surprise me. Of course, Mance Warner picking up the win. Oh, God. Let's talk about this, because this is fucking cringe. The Tessa Blanchard match. Tessa Blanchard going up against the former Xia Li, Li Yingli. I gotta be honest, it was a great matchup. It was. It really was a tremendous matchup. But Tessa Blanchard, what the fuck? Like, don't get me started on just like her past and just like how much of a piece of shit she is. And now you're gonna try to come out and be like, oh, well, I competed in Mexico, so it's okay if I tap into this, and like now I'm a Latino. Oh my god, just so cringe. You know what this reminds me of, B-roll? This how cringe this is. This is the equivalent of when white people are doing those stupid TikToks to the Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Just stop that shit. This is a public service announcement. Stop that shit. Listen to the song, folks. Listen to Not Like Us, okay? Stop that shit. And Tessa Blanchard, don't ever do this shit again, please, for the love of God. Not that I really care about you, because once again, you're just proving how big of a piece of shit you really are. But seriously, just cringe is the best way I can sum this up. I mean, it's just, ugh, yuck. Just hate it, bro.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But overall, Sacrifice was a solid show. It was a good show. Didn't do anything to like necessarily move the needle per se, but it was a solid Friday night show nonetheless. So. Well, my friends, I think it's that time in the show. We need to spice things up a bit. So let's go to our good friend Spicy Guac for a spicy take.
Spicy Guac with a spicy take. The Good Brothers have to be the unluckiest tag team in all of professional wrestling, because how do you get released not once, but twice, maybe even 3 times? Looking at you, Festus. 4, actually. How?
It's a gift. Well, hey, let's switch gears here and talk about Dynamite from this past Wednesday night. And the big moment on this show, I know you were hyped to see this, as we all were. Speedball Mike Bailey officially making his AEW debut, as he was entered as the mystery opponent in the, what the fuck is this thing again? The International Grand Prix Dunkin' Donuts Windex Grand Open qualifier for AEW Dynasty, presented to you by Mountain Dew, Code Red. Is that what that's what it is? I think, right?
Well, this one actually makes sense. We wouldn't be making fun of it if it wasn't for the freaking.
The first one was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
This, you're right. This one I do get a little bit more because we have wrestlers from different countries competing in it. Like, this is okay. I'm okay with this. Especially the fact we got Speedball making his debut. Going up against the Beast, Mortos. Tremendous matchup, and we got to see Speedball be Speedball.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that. Let me tell you something else I love, too, is the dominance of Megan Bayne all throughout this night. Of course, coming out, pretty much attacking Timeless Tony Storm. And then later on, of course, making her impact felt in the women's matchup between Willow Nightingale and Penelope Ford. Megan Bayne is a force to be reckoned with. And I love how they're presenting her as that. And she had a pretty busy night on Collision, too, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. Of course, the night kicked off with Kenny Omega making... with that tremendous kind of heartfelt promo, talking about, like, pretty much shouldn't be here, and yet now I'm your new international champion. Great moment. Um, can you explain this one to me? Why was Brian Cage and Dralistico a tag team against Powerhouse Hobbs and Hologram? Because I'm still confused on that.
Because they've so okay. So
See, it's
this
hard for
this is
you to
how
even
hard it is to
explain.
explain. Um, so LFI have been feuding with like Hologram and uh, Commander, and somehow like the Don Callis family has gotten involved. Um, so it's yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense now. Thank you
They
for
keep
explaining.
interfering in each other's stuff, and yeah. So now it's like a mixed bag of vegetables, and
Yeah,
Powerhouse Hobbs is there sometimes too.
fun. For so we could have simplified that really with like why is this happening? Reasons. That's why it's happening.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, MJF and MVP kind of having a moment there. That was a little interesting to see. Well, talking about their history and lineage, that was pretty cool. Max Caster once again getting his ass kicked this week by Takeshka. What are we doing? Max Caster, like the acclaim was, don't get me started. Will Osprey, that was an interesting promo, wasn't it,
it
bruv?
was it was indeed. We talked about this earlier this week, but yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, as the picture shows there, all signs pointing towards him maybe, definitely getting a world title shot at All In, which is the right thing to do. But yeah, his ADHD was showing there.
Yeah, but it's all good. It's all good, bro. It's all good. And of course, in our main event, which literally went on the air 5 minutes before they were supposed to go off the air, Orange Cassidy going up against Henchesero as part of the Dynasty IHOP International Oil Change Grand Prix um, Buffalo Wild Wings Tournament of Champions to determine who will go to Dynasty to challenge for that championship. Of course, OC picking up the win. That action and that the rest of that tournament would be concluded over on Collision from this past Saturday night. Big matchup kicking off the show. Ricochet going up against Shibata. Of course, Ricochet picking up the win. Boo. Uh,
Man, poor Shibata.
I know. But how about that man with the juiciest posterior in all the game? I'm talking about you, Mark Davis, picking up a big win against Mark Briscoe to be the fourth and final competitor to qualify for the International Toy Biz. Um, I forget the rest. Championship of Champion tournament. Um, sorry, my auto generator in my head shut down there for a second. But but hey, it's gonna be a great four-way this upcoming Wednesday on Dynamite to see who's gonna go to Dynasty. Be great if it was Speedball, but man, Ricochet against Kenny one-on-one, that'd be a pretty damn good matchup too. So who knows what we're gonna get, but we'll find out this upcoming Wednesday. As we say, Megan Bayne was on a tear this week, going one-on-one against Thunder Rosa, picking up a big win against the former AEW Women's Champion, and still undefeated in AEW. She is just laying waste. I love it. I love what they're doing with Megan Bayne, man. Always been a huge Megan Bayne fan, so just let her kick ass and take names and just run that division wild. Um, Also, we had Hobbs against Griff Garrison. Who the fuck's Griff Garrison? Come on, I had to get one in. It's been a long time. The Murder Machines were in action, as well as Hologram and Top Flight teamed up to take on Shane Taylor Promotions. And in your main event, FTR had a tremendous matchup going up against the Kingdom's Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. Of course, FTR picking up a big win there. But the follow-up week after AEW's Revolution, we are strongly on the road now to Dynasty, my friend. Well, we got an update on the New Japan Cup, which has been going on in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And we pretty much almost got a final set here as David Finlay has run through his side of the bracket. He's advanced all the way to the finals, where he will wait to meet the winner of Shingo Takagi and Shoto Umino. I'm pulling for Shooter, but I think this is David Finlay's to win. I think they're going to have David Finlay win it. What do you think?
Wouldn't shock me. I don't see it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I would have preferred Gabe Kidd, but I get it. They're
Exactly.
You know how New Japan is. They like to pump the brakes and kind of drag out these pushes and whatnot. So I get it. It is what it is. So, but nonetheless, later this week we will find out who is going to be the winner of the New Japan Cup. But not the only tournament going on in Japan as well right now. As over on Stardom, the Cinderella tournament has concluded. And of course, when we talk Stardom wrestling, we have to bring in the big guns. So here with a very special report on Stardom, let's go to our good friend, the Light Skin Gaijin.
Sayaka-san, omedetou gozaimasu. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Cinderella tournament has concluded, and we now have a brand new Cinderella tournament winner. Last year's Cinderella tournament winner, Hanan, would be defeated by her younger sister, Rina. Meanwhile, Sayaka Kurabara would prevent Azusa Inaba from advancing, giving us an all-hate Cinderella tournament final. There was some miscommunication in an 8-woman tag team match that involved Neo Genesis and Hate. I can't believe I'm doing this again, but Neo Genesis is fine. The rematch is set for Yokohama Arena on April 27th at All-Star Grand Queendom, as Mayu Iwatani will defend the IWGP Women's Championship against Shuri. Tekla defeated Mina Shirakawa and now gets to choose her next opponent in Stardom, which will be Stardom President Taro Okada? Hontoni? The Tam Nakano retirement tour continues, as on the road to All-Star Grand Queendom, Saori Ano will go one-on-one against Tam at Korakuen Hall. And this would also prompt Unagi Sayaka to make her return back to Stardom, even though she was told to stay away. I swear, she's the Eric Cartman of Joshi Wrestling. Whatever, I do what I want. Starlight Kid would retain the Wonder of Stardom Championship by defeating Konami, and yes, that wasn't Cold Spray, you're not fooling anybody, Konami. And in the main event of the Cinderella Tournament Final, Sayaka Kurabara would defeat Rina to become the 2025 Cinderella Tournament winner. As of this very moment in time, Sayaka Kurabara has not announced what her wish will be. However, only time will tell when this new up-and-coming protege will make her intentions known. So, Sayaka Kurabara, congratulations, omedetou gozaimasu, on becoming this year's Cinderella Tournament winner. We are officially on the road to All-Star Grand Queendom, as Sai Kamitani will once again defend the red belt against Tam Nakano, in, of all things, a retirement match. April 27th, live from Yokohama Arena, the stakes couldn't be any higher. So you guys might want to keep up with Stardom World as we hit the road to All-Star Grand Queendom.
Wow, a big retirement match coming up at Stardom's next big show. I cannot wait to see that, my friend. Thank you so much, Light Skin, for keeping us informed. Man, oh man, that is going to be a huge matchup. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen going into that show. Anytime you get a career versus career matchup, that's going to be pretty interesting. Well, let's talk about GCW this past weekend, as they were back to their old stomping grounds there at the Showboat in Atlantic City for Ashes to Ashes, and so much fun. And I can tell you, folks, if you love deathmatch wrestling, you had a lot of fun this past weekend, because there was a lot of brutality going on. First off, that main event from Saturday night, Mr. Danger, you're fucking nuts, dude. Like the stuff he was doing in that match against John Wayne Murdoch, like holy shit. And of course, setting it up where they will now meet in the first round of the Tournament of Survival. So that was going to be a tremendous matchup. Slade brutalizing our world champion Effie. Of course, Effie does pick up the win to retain that championship. Violence is forever. What the fuck, man? Y'all are crazy. Attacking the garbage days, attacking anybody they can get their hands on. Which it looks like there's going to be some type of a rematch here very soon. I'm going to assume at Joey Janela's spring break. But speaking of that, we got to talk about this. The matchup between Atticus Cogar and Fuego del Sol was a brutal matchup. And Fuego is going to be looking to get some revenge because it was just announced that they will be meeting in a loser leaves GCW matchup at Joey Janela's spring break, where Atticus Cougar will go one-on-one once again with Fuego del Sol. So a lot going on in the world of Game Changer Wrestling, a lot going on in independent wrestling. Speaking of which, a lot of big shows from this past weekend. Let's talk about them. House of Glory had their show this past weekend, City of Dreams. Of course, taking place in their home, away from home, New York City. Big night. Silhouette 2 in a tremendous matchup, retaining his championship against Dijak. Great matchup. But, of course, the big moment, Mercedes Moné making, I think this was her first indie match she's done since leaving WWE, I believe, or one of the first ones. But anyways, going one-on-one against Indy Hartwell. Tremendous matchup there. But House of Glory is a company we don't talk a whole ton about here on this show, but that's just because there's just so much wrestling going on. But House of Glory is a tremendous promotion. I would easily say in the top 5 of indie promotions going on right now. So you can go check them out on Triller. You can catch a replay of this show on Triller. You can also catch on Triller a replay of Maple Leaf Pro held their second series of cards this past weekend with Maple Leaf Pro's Mayhem show. Of course, we got to see the former Baron Corbin, or now, of course, we now know as Bishop Dyer, challenge Tom Latimer for the NWA Championship. Of course, Tom Latimer did retain. And, of course, this inaugural tournament to crown the first ever Maple Leaf Pro Women's Champion did take place. And it looks like we do have a final of Smiley Kylie Ray going up against Giselle Shaw. Man, Giselle Shaw just getting vicious, turning on Kylie Ray there. She is one win away from becoming the first ever Maple Leaf Pro Women's Champion. But tremendous set of shows this past weekend. Once again, you can check those out as well. But like we say, there's so much independent wrestling going on in the world. And it just so happens to be our good, close personal friend, the Best Scout Machine, is in one of the areas where it is literally, there's constantly indie wrestling going on there in Los Angeles, in California. And this past weekend, he was at a show, and he was on a mission to find somebody who we haven't seen in a long time. So that being said, let's go to the Best Scout Machine with this special report.
Scout Machine are suffering the consequences! God, it's really bothering me. Where is Scorpio Sky? I'm going to get to the bottom of this, I swear on everything. Wait a second. Wait a damn second. Wait a second. My God! Hey, could it be? Look at him! Look at him! It's beautiful! Get the hell out of the way! God damn it, get out of the way! Get out of the goddamn way! Goddamn, okay, there we go, there we go! Yeah! Woo! Oh, these guys are pissed. Woo! Yeah! Oh, we got it! There we go! He grins back, saying high five me. Dreams came true. We found him. Oh, that hurt his hands, tagging him in. Oh, look at him. Oh, look at him doing this. Oh, and he immediately goes down. Love the pants, though. Love the pants. Look at those pants. Up. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Tell them who you are. Tell them who you is. Up. Oh, that was well executed. 10 points. Okay, killing it. 1, 2. Now, you're going to give him a backflip. Will he? Damn it, I want a Scorpion on there. Guys. Oh my lord! And Scorpion's got back in! Shane looking great. Looking great, Shane. Looking great. Scorpion's got. Beautiful! Looks like Shane Hicks. Your knees okay. Looks like Shane Hicks. Got some popcorn on your back, buddy. There he is. And there he is. You are. And this action. It's action here. Leave alone. He's the missing child. Oh, shit. Out of nowhere. Good job, gang. Look, Shane Hicks. Talking about yay! Scorpio Sky won, and we learned all about our bodies and the meaning of Christmas. We learned about the meaning of Christmas. We still love you, Shane! Yay! Where the hell go next? We don't know. Woo! Possibly to the bathroom. Woo! And woo! Yeah! Yeah! Woo! Photo? Yeah, sure. Oh, you handsome devil. Hope it's a good video. That was his car driving into the night. I think we learned a lot about each other. Mostly Christmas and how central we are. Good night, America.
Oh, thank God he found Scorpio Sky. It's been a while. Great to see Scorpio Sky. Thank you so much, Pascal. We appreciate you. Yeah, good to see Scorpio Sky. It's been a minute. But that just goes to show you there is so much great action out there in the world of independent wrestling. If you're not going to your local indie show, you are really missing out. And speaking of which, it's now time we go to our good friend Michael J. Duplessis, who has an indie report about some shows you could be checking out that's coming to a town near you. So here's the indie report with Michael.
What up, y'all? It's your boy MJ Duplessis with an independent wrestling event report. First off, we have Independence Pro Wrestling presents Lost and Damned at the Holmes Campus Beer Garden. That is 112 Jackson Plaza, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Doors open at 5 p.m. Independence Wrestling on all social medias for tickets and information. Secondly, we have New South Pro Wrestling presents Best in the South, April 5th, at the Priceville Event Center in Priceville, Alabama. Doors open at 6:30, bell at 7:30. NewSouthTix.com for tickets and information. Lastly, we have Oblivion Wrestling presents The Clean Slate, Saturday, April 12th at 2054 Carpenter Road, Lacey, Washington, 98503. oblivionwrestling.simpletix, that is simpletix.com for tickets and information.
Well, there are some great indie shows you can check out, folks. Well, interesting. This came out this week. Is we have now got a lot of WWE stars who are, being called by their regular names, pretty much. So we're doing away with kind of that, like the little act. We're no longer Big Bronson Reed, just Bronson Reed. No more Seth freaking Rollins, just Seth Rollins. No more Dirty Dom. It's always gonna be Dirty Dom though, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, look at that mustache. Until the man shaves that mustache, he's always gonna be dirty, nonetheless. But I'm fine with this. It doesn't really bother me. I don't think it's anything big. I mean, probably makes things easier, I suppose. So than having like a little nickname or a tagline to go along with things. But he'll always be Dirty Dom in our hearts. I'm just saying. Also, WWE 2K25 dropped this past Friday. I haven't had a chance to play this. Need to pick it up. I know you're kind of in the same boat as me. At some point, we're going to play it, but I'm hearing nothing but good things. Oh, did you get it, you rascal?
Well, so true story. Full disclaimer. It may or may not be downloading right now.
I see what you did there. I like it.
I haven't
like
played it yet, but
well, you're going to have to let us know how it turns out, because a lot of people saying this is better than last year's game, and last year's game got a lot of critical acclaim and reviews. I know the biggest thing coming out of this one, I think, is the first time they're actually having an open world. You can go around like on the island or whatever for Roman's Island or some shit like that. I don't know, but you can tell I'm not really a gamer. But now, if it comes to Nintendo, I'm your guy. But I'm just saying. But I'm going to have to check this out, man. I'm excited to play it. Like, the 2K games, they've been knocking it out of the park these past couple of years. So, also, it was announced the official, Hall of Fame ceremony will be taking place at the Fontainebleau Hotel there in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, which was kind of interesting because this is the first time in a long time where they haven't done it where they do SmackDown or right after SmackDown. I mean, it is going to be after SmackDown, of course, but it's just kind of interesting that they're going to have to switch up to a venue. So it's going to be kind of cool, kind of neat. Going to be in a theater like years past. So I'm looking forward to this. And already a stupendous Hall of Fame class we have here, and some more announcements to come. So that's going to be dope. Excited to see it. Excited to hear it. Ooh, this is interesting. Seth Rollins making some cryptic comments about the man Becky Lynch. More or less not saying she's not retired. She is active, but she does have future plans in professional wrestling. So it's like, oh, what's that? Like, people don't read too much into this. Becky Lynch is going to be in the WWE.
He didn't say WWE. He just said pro wrestling.
Like, no, don't read too much into this. She's staying in the WWE, man. Come on. Now this one, I was surprised a little bit to hear. Miro and CJ Perry renewed their vows. So apparently they were just on a split. They weren't actually divorced. Not that we really need to know this information, but good for them, man. Good for them. Glad to hear they're back together. And then I just hope that they reconsummated the marriage in a tank. That's all I'm going to say about that.
It's the jury still says that once you've done it in a tank, you're bound for life. So
yeah. Speaking of tanks, how about this tank of a man? That is Jeff Cobb. It appears that he may potentially be already signed to the WWE. Hey man, he's a badass. Like, you put him in an NXT, I think that's gonna do tremendous. Love Jeff Cobb. Great to see him. So if he is in fact signed with WWE, that's gonna be dope as hell, man. Oh god. Okay, Hulk Hogan's a piece of shit. He left his autograph signing early and disappointed what little fans he has left. No surprise here. Hulk Hogan's a piece of shit. Watch our replay of Learning the Ropes, and you can hear me go on a rant for 3 or 4 minutes straight of how much I hate Hulk Hogan. Fuck him. Piece of shit. I called this one. I said it. I talked it into, and it's the existence. It looks like it's going to happen. There is rumors potentially of unifying the Continental and International Championship. Potentially could take place in a unification match at All In. I mean, it makes sense, man. It writes itself. So that would be pretty spectacular if they do that, especially if it's Kenny Omega against Kazuchika Okada. This was an interesting little tidbit. Kid Cash is coming out of retirement. apparently. Kid Cash, one of the all-time greats, one of the ECW originals, so that's pretty dope, I think. Great to see him coming out of retirement. This one literally came out of left field, just completely random. Speaking of random, let's go to Brian with Brian's Random Moment of the Week here on PW60.
Yeah, Brian's Random Moment of the Week. Get that embedded in your brain. Follow me everywhere. Ha, yeah. Slicked it up good. So kind of like in the words of Outkast, so fresh, so clean, but I can't sing. All right, back again, Random Moment of the Week. WrestleMania coming up in just around a month or so. Looking forward to it this year. Going to be a really good card, and looking forward to what's going to happen. Of course, things are still kind of shaping and forming. And I want to look at our What If series, looking at the WrestleManias of the past. And this one came to mind shortly before putting the video together. And I was thinking about WrestleMania 10, one of the first ones with, in fact, the first one really not featuring Hulk Hogan in any capacity, as the WWF at that time was moving on into a different direction, starting to do so. And we know, of course, that Bret Hart wrestled his brother Owen in the opening match, losing to Owen Hart, but then, of course, wrestled in the main event against Yokozuna as part of the co-winner of the 94 Royal Rumble. So now, here's the thought I had in mind. What if, at WrestleMania 10, Bret would have wrestled Yokozuna first, would have won the championship, and let's say Luger wasn't involved somehow. Let's say Bret won the Rumble outright. Flip the match card of the opening match and the main event. In this hypothetical situation is this. What if Bret Hart wrestled for the championship in the opening match and won the title, which would have been a major shift at that time, of course, in WrestleMania history. But then he would have had to have fought Owen in the main event. And what if Owen would have won the title there at WrestleMania properly, clean as a whistle? So, little food for thought. Nice little what if. So, with that, comment. And by the way, don't forget, follow the rest of the content creators here on PW60. And a little shameless plug for me. Don't forget, I've got the song of the day almost every single day of the week on Brian's House of Random. Goodbye for now.
Ooh, I love that idea and concept. We love you, Brian. And you know how else we love here at PW60? We love our wrestling content creators. Of course, this week, our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator Week is none other than the Top Rope family. I got to tell you, this family is amazing, dude. Like, they are giving away stuff, helping out the homeless, helping out those in need, donating a ton of pro wrestling shirts and stuff. Like, their videos are awesome to see. They're so uplifting. It's so great to see, especially in the world we live in. We need a lot of positivity like this. So truly awe-inspiring what they are doing. So if you're not following them, go follow Top Rope Family on all social media platforms, because they are our Ruby Ringside Wrestling Content Creator of the Week this week here on PW60. Also, it came out this week that one Lillian Garcia has officially worked her last full-time WWE event. Now, she'll still be working with the WWE, but just not in a full-time capacity. So it was great to see Lillian back, and it's going to be great to continue to see her still a part of the WWE in some capacity. Unfortunate news coming out here is a former Nasty Boy Brian Knobbs, former tag team champion Brian Knobbs, is having some serious health issues. They have started a GoFundMe for him as he was needing a blood transfusion. He's a diabetic, has some serious issues, potentially could lose his foot. So we here at PW60, we want to wish Brian Knobbs well and hope he gets to feeling better and back on the mend soon. Also, it was announced this week that Backlash will be taking place from St. Louis on Saturday, May 10th. Interesting. Randy versus Cena, maybe? I'm just saying. Would make a whole hell of a lot of sense. And also, speaking of venues for upcoming shows later this year, does look like potentially the Survivor Series may be coming to San Diego. So, home of Mr. 619 himself, one Rey Mysterio. That would be interesting to see if they do, in fact, go to San Diego. And perhaps, and this is our last story, this may be the most interesting. It was officially announced that Stone Cold Steve Austin will be at WWE World there in Las Vegas. Vegas is where he lives, or Nevada is his home state. B-roll. Do you think this means we could potentially be seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin involved at WrestleMania 41 this year?
I think I don't want to call it disappointment of last year because last year was amazing, but everyone thought it was going to be him all along.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I can tell you this. If The Rock is going to be at WrestleMania, which we think he will, I think the Texas Rattlesnake is going to be there as well, my friend. Well, we have somehow covered everything that's happened this past week in the world of pro wrestling. And there's so much more to come this week as we continue on the road to WrestleMania. Cannot wait to hear what John Cena has to say or what that's going to be. And so much more this upcoming week in the world of wrestling. I'm Xlj the Og, joined by Mr. B-Roll. And we'll see you next week on another episode of Pro Wrestling 60. Everybody take care. Have a great week. Bye.